you never go into a game expecting to lose, but lose bad. So, I mean, definitely you get shocked because you didn't play the way you wanted to. But we have enough leaders on this team. We have to find a way. I mean, I don't know what that's going to take yet. We'll go in, we'll talk about it, we'll figure it out, we'll watch the film. It's been kind of rainbows and flowers and awesome for these last few years, but whenever you want to build something substantial and you want to build something great, you're going to go through parts like this.
Typically, whenever I try to promote these t-shirts that are finally going to be dropping this Monday on Mikerophone.org, one of the jokes I make is it's the perfect gift to purchase for somebody who doesn't believe Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time and that thinks Patrick Mahomes is overrated. And just a few weeks into the NFL season, the latter part is starting to look like it may be true after one of the most difficult seasons in Patrick Mahomes' career. So what's going on? Well, in this video today, I'm going to be taking you through multiple on the field and off the field factors as to what might be contributing to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs' worst season in the Mahomes era. Before we get to the content, make sure you sack the like button for the YouTube algorithm, consider subscribing and turning on our notifications, and follow us on Instagram at @TheFlightMike and Twitter at MicrophoneNFL, which is the same as my TikTok at MicrophoneNFL. Now that we get all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? It has been an absolute roller coaster of an NFL career for Patrick Mahomes. To be honest, during the 2017 NFL draft, I wasn't really paying much attention to Mahomes. He was kind of like the NFL draft's best kept secret, and I was more fixated on the top tier quarterbacks such as Deshaun Watson and Mitchell Trubisky, which, for the love of God, I have no idea who paid Mel Kiper the amount that they paid him in order to boost Mitchell Trubisky's draft stock out of nowhere. By the way, we have a video on all of Mel Kiper's worst NFL draft takes if you guys want to check that out. But shortly after the Houston Texans traded up to select Deshaun Watson in the 2017 NFL draft, the Kansas City Chiefs traded up shortly after to select Patrick Mahomes, a player that was the best kept secret in the NFL draft. Mahomes sat out his entire rookie year during the 2017 NFL season, and during his first year under center in 2018, the man completed 66% of his passes, threw for 50 touchdowns in just 12 interceptions, which was good enough to win his first NFL MVP in his first full year under center for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's not something you see every day. The very next year, Mahomes may have missed out on NFL MVP, but he still threw 26 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, over 4,000 yards, and oh yeah, he won his first Super Bowl in his second year in the NFL. Shortly after, the Kansas City Chiefs decided, okay, we've seen enough, we're ready to offer this man a crazy extension, and that they did, offering the man a 10-year, $500 million contract of the likes that I don't think we've ever seen in NFL history. The man pretty much gets paid the maximum amount he could get paid for the next 10 years, and it's adjusted to the salary cap. So it's literally projecting the amount of revenue the NFL is going to be making in the future and is going to pay him as such. All of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes goes from underdog wonder kid to one of the future faces of the NFL. Not only that, he starts making investments like purchasing a stake in the Kansas City Royals and starts getting a plethora of sponsorships. Things started out as good as normal during the 2020 NFL season, where he threw for 38 touchdowns and just 6 interceptions and over 4,700 passing yards. But the problem came in the Kansas City Chiefs' run to the Super Bowl, where their entire offensive line was completely decimated by injuries. And when you go up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which happens to have the greatest quarterback of all time playing on the offensive end, and a terrifying pass rush that is composed of Ndamukong Suh, Jason Pierre-Paul, and Shaquille Barrett on the defensive end, and you don't have your offensive line at full strength, well, things aren't going to go so well for you. And unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes had a horrible showing during the Super Bowl, and the Kansas City Chiefs knew what needed to be done. That offseason, the Kansas City Chiefs decided, okay, the reason why we lost the Super Bowl was because we had an offensive line that was a shell of its former self. Our starters were not playing. Let's go ahead and make the necessary adjustments to protect our $500 million investment. And that they did. They traded for the Baltimore Ravens Pro Bowl left tackle Orlando Brown. Then they went and broke the bank on signing Joe Thuney, previously of the New England Patriots. They also added 6 additional offensive linemen, and this is where things started to go completely wrong for the Kansas City Chiefs. Because on paper, those were the right additions. On paper, that's what any general manager should do. But here's the thing about football that makes football so great. It is one of the most unpredictable sports in the entire world. And that brings us to the Kansas City Chiefs' problems on the field. You see, so far, with all of the attention going to the offensive side of the field, the Kansas City Chiefs didn't address by far their biggest weakness this year, the defensive side of the field. You see, Chris Jones and Frank Clark are the Kansas City Chiefs' best pass rushers. And so far throughout the entire season, Chris Jones has only had 2 sacks, which bear in mind, this is a guy that had 18 sacks during the 2018 season, whereas Frank Clark has yet to record a single sack in the games that he has played so far this year, which he and Chris Jones have been in and out of lineups because they have also been injured this year. Now, typically this wouldn't be as big of a deal, but unfortunately it looks like the acquisitions the Kansas City Chiefs have made on the offensive line haven't been panning out either. And the one example that we could bring to you guys is the game against the Tennessee Titans. And to give you an idea of how horrible the offensive line looked against the Tennessee Titans, it looks like Patrick Mahomes was getting blitzed all game, but in reality, the Tennessee Titans only blitzed once in 44 dropbacks. Throughout the entire season, Patrick Mahomes has been blitzed just 13% of the time this season, but he's been pressured on 35% of his attempts. Now get this, Orlando Brown Jr. previously was a right tackle for the Baltimore Ravens, but the reason why he demanded a trade was because he played left tackle for a brief period of time for the Baltimore Ravens while Ronnie Stanley was out, and he looked pretty solid. Now, he's been trying to establish himself as a left tackle this year, and he's had moments where he's played fairly well, but he looked absolutely terrible against the Tennessee Titans. Now, the offensive line could be fixed, but the defense could be a huge problem during this entire season, which can contribute to the reason why the Kansas City Chiefs have lost 4 games, because without a defense to depend upon, Patrick Mahomes has to take more risks and make some more questionable decisions with the football. But that's before we get to the poor guy's mental health. So your girlfriend just broke up with you and you have no idea why. Well, I know why, because you're not freaking manscaping, bro. No woman wants to be with a man that still has a forest in between his legs or on his chest. It's 2021, not 1971, and there's no company better to do all your male grooming than Manscaped. They just released this awesome Lawnmower 4.0, the perfect tool to groom your body, butt, and balls. It features skin-safe technology so you don't nick yourself and has controllable LED lights so you can see where you're grooming, which is part of their Performance Package 4.0. But I'm gonna be honest, I use this bad boy about once a week, but what I use on a daily basis is their Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant and their Crop Reviver Ball Spray. Now, all of this is included in the Performance Package 4.0, which I highly recommend you order, because if you order the Performance Package 4.0, you get their really awesome leather travel bag, which is probably my favorite part of the Performance Package 4.0, and their extremely comfortable performance boxers, which I just came back from a music festival, and these boxers literally saved my life. And right now, Manscaped is willing to hook you up with 20% off when you use my promo code FLIGHT for 20% off. That's promo code FLIGHT for 20% off, and go get your girl back, bro. Now, I've made videos on Patrick Mahomes' family before, first starting with Brittany Matthews, Patrick Mahomes' wife. A few weeks ago, Brittany Matthews tweeted out, "The refs are never in our favor, ever." And this caused a bunch of fans to tweet out moments where it seemed like the refs were in the Kansas City Chiefs' favor, like the Cleveland Browns matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC playoffs last year, and Patrick Mahomes' lone Super Bowl victory on a no-call on Eric Fisher. And while I have seen moments like this before in the NBA, like when Aisha Curry famously said that the game is rigged for views or ratings when Steph Curry lost, I think Brittany Matthews takes it to a brand new level of not only being annoying, but very obnoxious. A fan tweeted to her, and I can't pull up the tweet because the fan, I suppose, limited her tweets after this going viral. "Girl, I need you to stop. This was my team long before Patrick was here. It's not giving the organization a good look. The Chiefs are bigger quicker than you, me, or any one player. And of course, Brittany Matthews' response to the whole situation is, in the nicest way possible, shut up. Now, the worst part of this is she kind of doubled down on this statement, saying, I said what I said, y'all are so mad, which is how I expect a child to react when Patrick Mahomes is losing to the Buffalo Bills, but unfortunately, that's what he has to deal with. At first, I thought this may be a stretch. It sounds like a ridiculous stretch to say Patrick Mahomes isn't performing well because his family is embarrassing him. Let's not even get started with Jackson Mahomes, the guy that I previously neglected up until this past month. Jackson was first called out for doing these incredibly cringy TikTok dances, and it just seems like he's not only insensitive, but extremely narcissistic in these TikToks. Because at first, you would just see him and Brittany doing cringy dances on TikTok, which is stuff that I think they've been doing over the past 2 years. I haven't really paid much attention to it until this past month, but as time progressed forward and the season got more and more difficult, you see that Jackson Mahomes is just doing things to add stress onto Patrick Mahomes' life, including the Baltimore Ravens game where he dumped water on a fan. I'm sorry for it. Oh, Jackson. Let's go! Go! Which resulted in Patrick Mahomes finally having to answer a press media question in regards to Jackson Mahomes earlier in the season, but this all eventually led up to Jackson Mahomes dancing on Sean Taylor's number 21 memorial when the Washington football team was retiring Sean Taylor's jersey number in an attempt to get the horrible press off of them due to the Bruce Allen email situation, which is a video that if you guys are requesting, I will make at a later date. And this brings us to more recent TikToks. There's this famous TikTok where Jackson and Brittany are dancing like a bunch of idiots while Patrick Mahomes seems to be studying a playbook, at least that's what I'm assuming, and he doesn't look so excited to see them dancing around him. But then earlier today, we got the latest installment in the saga, and I think this is just verification that Patrick is just not happy and his family's starting to drive him insane with this TikTok that Jackson and Brittany do in front of Patrick while he's eating, and you can literally see the expression on the poor man's face. It looks like he's saying, what the hell are you guys doing? Leave me alone, I'm trying to eat. At least that's the expression I'm getting from the guy. It just seems so tone deaf of Jackson and Brittany to just think, hey, we're Patrick Mahomes' wife, and I'm Patrick Mahomes' brother, and I'm just going to try to siphon as much clout from the man as possible, despite him being in by far one of the most stressful situations of his young career. I would understand them doing this type of stuff if it was last year or 2 years ago, and the Kansas City Chiefs were absolutely crushing it. But during a time where Patrick Mahomes is going through a relatively low point in his career, where his team has a losing record, it's not only tone deaf and narcissistic, it's extremely selfish of them. So in my opinion, what's going to be the fate of the Kansas City Chiefs? Well, the offensive line at some point or another is going to figure it out. It's a brand new assembled offensive line, and there are some very talented players on that offensive line. It's only a matter of time before they figure it out. The defense is going to be a problem all year long until Chris Jones and Frank Clark get a little bit more healthy. They might go from absolutely terrible to below average at best, which means Patrick Mahomes is going to be stuck in these situations where pressure is going to be on him to make spectacular play after spectacular play to keep the Kansas City Chiefs in games. Do I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to make it to the Super Bowl again this year? Most probably not. But hey, I've been proven wrong before. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think is causing Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs to perform this horribly? Do you feel empathetic towards Patrick, or do you think he deserves everything that's coming to him? Make sure you follow us on all of our social medias and look back on Monday on microphone.org for the casual shirt drop. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.